All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. And you may be wondering why I'm wearing these awesome glasses, and there's a really good reason for that. Today we have a new addition to the makerspace. Our friends over at Longer 3D have actually sent me a laser engraver to review. Their 20-watt laser engraver. Now, they haven't paid me any money, they haven't had any editorial control over my video, but they did send me the engraver as well as the air attachment for free. Just wanted to throw that out there. It's not going to affect the way that I review the video, but it's fair for you guys to know that they did send me this product for free. So you may be wondering, why in the heck a 3D YouTuber might have an interest in a laser engraver? Well, after kind of looking at these a little bit, it's really just a 2D, 3D printer with a little laser on it, right? It still has a Core XY, so there's a lot of similarities between a 3D printer and this laser engraver to make it pretty easy to use. I don't think the learning curve is going to be very hard on it, but we'll see that today. I still haven't unboxed it or anything. The other thing that it's good for is in combination with our other 3D projects. So as you remember, last week we made the lithophane print from the lithophane bundle from Bamboo, and we were missing the back plate for the LED lights. A laser engraver is a great thing to cut very thin metal into the shapes that you need, and I think it would be perfect to make that back plate for the lithophane print. And moving forward, this will be an easy way to make custom back plates for the lithophane prints. So today we'll be unboxing, assembling. I'll do an initial review on this laser engraver, and then we'll try to print one, or we'll try to cut out one of those back plates for the lithophane print. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax, and I'll get everything ready. All right, so as you can see, both of these boxes came in another box, but they came undamaged, packaged very, very well. I don't see anything crazy on there. They did ship fairly quickly. UPS did everybody a favor and lost it for 2 days, and I had to call them to have them find it. But the manufacturer themselves got it to me in a very, very quick time. If it wasn't for UPS, I think I would have had it in about 3 days. So they will get this to you pretty quick. So this is the air unit in this white box here. So let's go ahead and unbox that and see what's in here. All right, so as we can see, here is the little air compressor, and this is supposed to help improve the engravings and the cuts and everything. Is supposed to make it better quality. So we'll set that to the side, and we'll add it to the build when we build everything up. And this looks like, yeah, this is all the tubing for it, I guess. I guess you plug it in here and probably near the tip of the laser. So that's how that came. Nothing else in the box. All right, so the first thing that you get when you open this box is the instructions. So they look like they're in color. We'll go step by step. I'll show you what these look like step by step. I'll show you how easy or hard it is. Let you know all about that. All right, so probably the coolest thing in the box is these sunglasses. These are much cooler than the other ones, just kidding. But they do come with glasses that you'll need for there. Here's all the hardware and everything that we'll need. USB cable that we'll need to connect with our computer. Here's the little screen. And as you can see, it does look like one of the old Creality. This looks exactly like my Creality screen or whatever. I haven't turned it on or anything, but there's a little SD slot and a place to plug in the USB cable there. All right, next is the power supply here. Here's the laser, and this thing has some weight to it. And we all know that the heavier it weighs, the, you know, the more high quality it is. Just kidding. But it does have a pretty good weight to it. And again, this is the 20-watt laser from them. And they have, I believe, a 5-watt, a 10-watt, a 20-watt, and a 30-watt. And this one is the 20. And this looks like one of the rails there. And like I was saying, you know, this looks a lot like, you know, 3D printing without the Z-axis, really. So it looks like it's a lot simpler to put together than like your Creality or your Ender or something like that. But again, we'll take a look at it here. So that's that piece. And it is, you know, the one thing I will say is everything does look like it's pretty good quality. It's packaged really well. Nothing was loose. I did open it up at first to make sure everything was in here. But everything's packaged really, really well. You know, there's no scratches or anything on it. Box is still in good shape. Everything fits nice and tight in there, so nothing was, you could tell nothing moved around during shipping. And then here's the last few odds and ends that are in the box. And I'll get everything set up and we'll go ahead and put it together. As you can see here, the instructions here, I'm going to follow those step by step. And again, if anything comes up, I'll let you guys know. So with that, we'll get started. One cool thing that I just noticed is each of the steps are numbered on these little bags right here. Super handy. Thank you, Longer, for that. Super handy. Here's a look at the laser module. All right, so that looks like we're done putting everything together. Here's the focus plate. So what we'll need to do is, this is how far away from what we need to engrave it is. That's the last step. But I would highly recommend getting one of these. This wasn't that bad on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it. So let me get this put in. All right, so this is pretty cool. It has these little things, so whenever you put your wood down, you can actually kind of hold it down with these little guys here. So that's kind of neat, and I guess we'll read some more instructions on printing and everything, but what I'm guessing, I don't know how much you guys can see this, but we're gonna probably want to do something similar to that, where the laser is this far, the thickness of this little thing, away from the piece. So everything's assembled, we're ready to go. So let's dive into the website, take a look at some of the features of the longer Ray5 20 watt. All right, so before we go to the computer, I will at some point need to install this hose with this pump for the air piece on that. So I'll go ahead and get that part done, and then I'll meet you in the computer. All right, so here we are on Gearberry's website. We'll do a brief overview here. Here is the 20 watt laser. There is a promo code in there, and they are saying if you buy the 20 watt, you get the air pump for free. So this says it can do up to 15 millimeters of pine or 8 millimeters of acrylic in one pass, and very small stainless steel. It says it can cut. It can cut thicker than that, but it takes multiple passes or whatever, but that's still pretty thick for these. And it's that second piece that I think may help us in the future. Being able to cut some plywood's going to help us with the backing for the lithophane print. But in the future, we're going to need light diffusers for LED stuff that we'll be doing. So being able to cut acrylic with this thing is going to come in very, very handy as well. I think they're all pretty much very similar. I think there's different size beds and everything, but the big differences between these are the, the wattage of the laser here. So you can go all the way down to 5 watts. I'm not sure how much you're going to cut with that. It says it can cut some stuff with that, and it shows it here, but you're probably going to have to make a lot more passes with this thing. It is a pretty good price, though. You're going to have to make a lot more passes with that than you will with, say, this 10 watt or the 25 watt. Okay. All right, so there you have it. We've unboxed, we put together, and we went ahead and got the back plate done for our lithophane print. So the longer laser engraver came through. All I had to do was type in the dimensions of this in Lightburn, and it printed it right out at the perfect size. So that's really good. That's one less thing that we have to do to get our lithophane print to work. Next will be the LEDs that we do on that. So the only thing that's left today is for me to give the good, the bad, and the ugly of this printer or of this laser engraver after barely putting it together and running through a couple of prints. We'll do a longer term review on it. Maybe I'll do a 1 month and a 6 month, similar to how I've done on the Bamboo. But my initial impressions for the good are this thing's well built. It came packaged really well. It seems to be very well built. It wasn't too hard to put together. It took about 45 minutes with filming. I'm sure I could have knocked it out in about 25-30 if I wasn't having to film it or anything like that. A couple of things that weren't quite straightforward, but for the most part, those are one of the better instruction that I've had for a machine. So I will say it shipped fast, came packaged very well, seems to be high quality. Everything has worked right off the bat. The touch screen on this thing is one of the better touch screens that I've seen on little cheap devices like this. It has a really responsive touch screen, and it connected to the Wi-Fi right away. Everything that I've told it to do, it's done it right away. So that's the good, awesome, really, really good stuff there. Shipping, all of that. So let's get into the good, or into the bad, and into the ugly. And really, the bad and the ugly, I don't think pertain specifically to the longer Ray5. I think these are the things that you need to consider if you want to do laser engraving or, cut stuff out and everything like I have here. The bad and the ugly are the things that you need to consider. And the bad is initial, after just a couple of weeks of messing around with the software and then actually trying to use it once I got this thing set up. And this isn't on longer, but light burn and light GRBL or whatever, they could be a little bit more user-friendly. I think I spent way too much time on some very basic stuff that could have been a lot more user-friendly. Specifically, just plugging a USB into the thing. Anyway, the bad is definitely the software. So you would think that, it'd just be like another slicer, and in some degree it is. You're still dealing with G-code, but there is a little bit of a learning curve on the software, and I'll probably do some videos on that and show some tips and tricks as I get better at using it. But that definitely is the bad. And then for the ugly, it does share one of the uglies with the Bamboo, and it's noisy. The fan on this thing sounds like an airplane's taking off. It's about as loud or a little bit louder than the Bamboo with the fan. So that's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of people ask me about that in the first review that I did with the Bamboo. This thing has a loud fan as well. And then it does have one other ugly, and again, this is something that I don't think is specific to the longer Ray5, but is specific to laser engraving in general. This thing is smoky. It puts out a little bit of smoke, and it smells like smoke. It didn't make any of my alarms or anything go off. I do have a window that's right over here, but I would make sure you have a window open with a fan or something if you're gonna do a really long burn or engraving or something like that. You definitely want to have this in a ventilated area. Do not put this in a room. But really, again, these are things that are only specific to this. A couple of tips and tricks: make sure that you either use the glasses that come with it or buy another pair like I showed in the beginning of the video. And do not leave this thing unattended. I don't ever leave my house with my 3D printer going or anything like that, because that is a fire hazard, but I don't, monitor it probably like I should. This thing, you want to make sure you're watching it and make sure you have the glasses on so you don't get burnt by the laser. But this thing puts out a little bit of smoke or whatever, so where there's smoke, there could be fire. So you definitely want to monitor all of your engravings or cutouts or layouts or whatever you happen to use this for. So that's it for us today. I had a really good time. I've been looking forward to doing this. I've had this for a couple of weeks and just been waiting to build a studio to get this done. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Be sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. And I hope everybody has a good week, and I'll see you next weekend.